Good morning. I'm Tyler with Front Range Overland, and you might not be able to tell it yet, but we are no longer in Colorado. Over the past 3 days, we've driven about 1,500 miles and spent about 25 hours in the car, and we are here at the Redwood National Park, which, if you're not familiar with that, it's in northwestern California. It's comprised of like multiple state parks, so we're actually in the Jedediah Smith State Park and Campground, and it's absolutely beautiful. I did know kind of what to expect. I knew these trees would be big, but the size of these trees is absolutely incredible. So it's I know it looks dark out, but it's about 7:15 in the morning. The canopy keeps out most of the light, so it stays pretty dark in here. Very peaceful. Got a good night's sleep last night. It's been a long 3 days. Today we're gonna probably try to spend as much time outside of the car as possible. So we're gonna go check out the visitor center, get a sticker for the fridge in the back of the Bronco, and do some trails. But first we need some coffee. Gotta get the energy up and going, and make some breakfast, relax for a little bit. There's no real big agenda today besides just not being in the car. So let's make some coffee. If you've never had cinnamon rolls cooked on a Blackstone, you are missing out for sure.
I don't know. Good. You were doing funny. I was just joking.
After a short drive from the campsite, we began our day at the Stout Grove Trail. From the parking lot, we descended a short paved section of trail, and at the bottom, we found ourselves staring up at the massive 300-foot tall redwoods. The trail itself is easy and only about a half a mile in length, but where the trail lacks in difficulty and in distance, it makes up for it in beauty. As we walked amongst the trees, it's hard to get a sense of how tall they are until you get a chance to walk alongside of a fallen giant. A short distance on the trail, we found a spur that led us down to the Smith River. During summer months, there's a footbridge that provides access to the trail from the Jedediah Smith campground where we were camped. But unfortunately, since we visited the park in October, the bridge had been taken down for the winter months. After throwing a few rocks in the water, we headed back the way we came and continued along the trail, weaving between one skyscraping tree after the other. The trail itself makes a loop, and after a short distance, we found ourselves back at the parking lot just in time for lunch.
You taking lots of pictures? Oh, yes. Photo shoot. That's a good one.
After grabbing a quick bite to eat, we headed to the Grove of Titans Trail, which isn't far from the Stout Grove Trail. Although still considered an easy trail, the Grove of Titans is about a mile longer and adds about 100 feet of elevation gain over the Stout Grove Trail. The Grove of Titans is a fairly new trail since it was completed in the summer of 2022. The trail was created to preserve the forest floor from well-meaning visitors who were seeking adventure by using GPS coordinates to locate the recently rediscovered Titans. The trail is a combination of dirt and raised boardwalks that will bring you to the base of the Titans, which are considered some of the largest redwood trees by volume. To give you an idea of how large these trees are, the Lost Monarch, which is considered one of the largest in the grove, is measured to be 35,000 cubic feet in volume, which means you could probably get about 120,000 standard 2x4 boards out of it. The Grove of Titans Trail is considered an out and back trail, but it can be connected to the Mill Creek Trail, which adds about 9.5 miles to your trip. We opted to forego the additional 9 miles and decided to head back the way we came, to the parking lot. Back at camp, I enjoyed a cold beer and some conversations with Harper about how her baby dolls were enjoying the trip. Then it was time for dinner before heading to bed before another day full of adventures.
Well, good morning. It's day number 2 here. It's our last full day at the Redwoods. Today we're going to head down towards, I think it's the town of Orick, and do the Fern Canyon Trail. Should be pretty easy. Pick that one because Caden likes the Jurassic Park series, and apparently one of the films was, or part of one of the films was filmed in the Fern Canyon area. So we're going to go check that out. Yesterday we did the Stout Grove Trail and the Grove of Titans. Both were, the Stout Grove was a very easy trail and absolutely beautiful. The Grove of Titans was more of a moderate trail. Still easy to do, but a little bit more ups and downs, whereas the Stout Grove was fairly flat. But both were extremely beautiful. If you don't have much time, I think the Stout Grove is about a half a mile, so if you're in a pinch or in the area and just want to get out of the car for a little bit, that was a stunning trail to do. So the kids liked it. Like I said, last full day here, gonna explore the area. We're getting a little bit of rain, so we gotta have about an hour car ride today, so that'll get us out of the rain for a little bit. Do some more exploring, and then tonight we'll start packing up, and then we'll roll out early tomorrow morning because we are headed to Yosemite. So yeah, so stay tuned. We're gonna have some fun today. Hope you enjoy.
After leaving the Jedediah Smith State Park, we traded the dense redwood forest for dense fog. Fortunately, not long into our drive, the fog gave way to spectacular views of the Pacific Ocean. Once we reached the Prairie Creek Redwood State Park, we were greeted by a herd of Roosevelt elk, which come to find out are larger than the Rocky Mountain elk we are used to back in Colorado. After visiting with the elk, we headed back into the redwood forest, which soon gave way to stunning views of the Gold Bluff beach and the ocean. The dirt road leading to the parking lot was muddy and had a few water crossings, which sadly turned out to be the only off-roading we would do this entire 2-week trip. After getting parked, Caden and Harper discovered a small trail that appeared to lead to the beach. A short distance down the trail, Caden spotted another herd of elk grazing in the grassy dunes. Having only seen elk in and around the mountains of Colorado, I never imagined seeing them with the Pacific Ocean as the backdrop. We headed back to the parking lot and towards the Fern Canyon Loop Trail. The trail is just over a mile long with 127 feet of elevation gain. Although considered an easy trail, it's definitely the most engaging. It starts out as a smooth dirt trail, skirting along the tree line with occasional glimpses of the ocean. A little ways down the trail, it makes a turn away from the ocean and into a 50-foot deep vertical walled canyon lined with ferns. While in the canyon, the trail's not much of a trail, but just an ankle-deep creek, and you're tasked with crossing it a dozen times. Luckily, each crossing had rocks, logs, and sticks that we could use to avoid getting our shoes wet. Each crossing was like a new puzzle that we had to solve in order to make it across the creek. Ultimately, if you wear waterproof shoes, you could walk right down the middle of the creek. But I found partaking in Mother Nature's parkour was a lot more fun. Did it. Come on. Just walk normal. Hey, just walk normal. As we made our way down the trail, we noticed the number of people quickly decreased. At around the halfway point of the trail, we had to climb a set of stairs which added the 127 feet of elevation gain. Once out of the canyon, the trail was back to being smooth dirt, which looped back around to the beginning of the trail, where we first entered the canyon. Along the way, there were a few overlooks that gave us a view back down into the fern-lined canyon. Once done with the Fern Loop Trail, we wanted to explore the Gold Bluffs beach before making our hour drive back to camp. The beaches on the west coast are far different than the Gulf Coast beaches of Florida we are used to. The roar of the ocean and laughter filled the air as Kaden and Harper tried to dodge the waves, but ultimately were unsuccessful. Luckily, the 10-hour drive to Yosemite tomorrow would give us plenty of time to dry out their shoes. After leaving the beach, we headed back to the car and made our hour drive back to camp for a quick dinner and early bedtime, since we were leaving bright and early in the morning to continue on to our next adventure. I hope you liked the video and feel free to subscribe, and make sure you stay tuned for next week's episode where we explore Yosemite National Park. Again, I'm Tyler, Front Range Overland, and thanks for tuning in.